Tell me about what that process looks like to determine whether or not their unit is a good fit for room rentals.
It kind of really depends on what type of co-living space you want to have.
Yeah.
Right. So you start there. If you want to cater to an affordable housing type clientele, okay, then it's all about location and public transportation. If it's a more upscale, luxurious, boutique type scenario, it's not so much about location. It's about the property itself, right? What are the amenities that this property offers?
What are the most important amenities within a co-living space? Is it free laundry on site? Is it free parking? Like, what really draws people in to say, you know what, I'm choosing this one as opposed to this co-living property down the street?
Bathrooms.
Okay.
I know that sounds crazy,
No,
but
it doesn't.
that's one of the we have that conversation a lot. How many people are going to share a bathroom? Number one. Or if you have your own private bathroom.
Like, I have gone as far as 2 people to a bathroom, and that's it. I've seen fellow hosts, room rental property owners that have 4 people sharing one bathroom. And I'm like, how are you making that work? Welcome to another episode of the Co-Living Investing Podcast. I am your host, Ashley Jeffers, and this episode is no different than any other episode where we have the best guests, the best experts in the co-living investing space. Tonight is no different. I have with me Courtenay Burke. Courtenay, welcome to the podcast.
Man, Ashley, thank you for having me. I've never been called the best before.
The best.
Or the expert. So I like that.
You're that guy.
It feels good.
You're that guy. We're going to get into why later on in this
good.
episode. But Courtenay, you are a room rental property manager, correct?
That is me.
And the name of your business is RenterCasa. Shout out RenterCasa.
RenterCasa, yeah.
We'll make sure that we drop that link into the show notes so people can connect. I have had a room rental property manager on the pod before as a guest.
Okay.
But I'm always into new perspectives, new approaches, different ways to look at the business.
Absolutely.
And so before we get into your business and what that looks like, bring me up to speed on your history in real estate, whether it's real estate investing. I believe you are a licensed real estate agent. So how did you get into real estate and what did that look like from the beginning?
Wow. So I started back during the recession. Everyone thought that I was crazy. I spent about 10 years of my career in nonprofit management. And during that time, I actually got burned out. So as other companies were letting go of people, my company decided not to, that I was with. And what we would do is just absorb the work of whoever left, essentially. So I got kind of burned out.
Yeah.
I always had an interest in real estate. But I got my license during a recession. Everyone thought I was crazy. Who would jump into real estate during a recession? But my mentor at that time said to me, Courtenay, if you can sell in this market, you can sell in any market. Yeah.
That's true.
So I did that for a while. And I got into property management. So I was driving this big Jeep Commander. It was a gas guzzler. And I said, you know what? Just to pay for the gas, I need another part-time job, because I don't know when these checks are coming in. Right. So I started working at a little apartment complex on the weekends and became a property manager within, I think it was like 3 weeks of me being there. They had to make some changes there. But I absolutely enjoyed property management.
Oh, wow.
I got into, I became a floating property manager, started managing some student housing. Then I got into single family property rentals. I've worked with a lot of the institutions. I've managed up to 9,000 single family homes in multiple markats.
All at one time?
All at one time. Of course, I had an incredible team of,
I was going to say, you weren't doing that by yourself.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. I had a team of about 80 people, that reported indirectly and indirectly to me. But I work with almost every major institution.
Okay.
I'm a licensed real estate broker in 7 states.
Okay.
So I, working with these various institutions, they were buying properties in various states. They said, hey, we need brokers. So I would get my license wherever they needed me to get my license, basically. And then there was a point where I wanted to pivot and do something different. And saw the co-living space and said, this is unique. I wanted to be unique and do something different. And so I started working with Pad Split for a little while, and there was an opportunity for me to begin managing some properties under my own brokerage, RenterCasa, and so I've been doing that for a little while and loving every minute of it.
Okay, and that's fast forward to today. You are running RenterCasa full time.
Full time, absolutely.
Okay. And you operate in what markets today?
3 markets: Atlanta, Charlotte, and Raleigh.
Okay. So when it comes to the room rental property management space, that's different from traditional property management.
Very much so.
Where you are managing a single family home
Yep.
or like apartment units. So when we're talking about room rental property management, when someone hires you and says, "Hey, look, I'm a hands-off investor. I just want to pay you whatever your fee is each month, and I just want to collect a check."
Right.
Tell me about what that process looks like for you to determine whether or not their unit is a good fit for room rentals. Just because they bought it,
Sure.
and said, "I want to do room rentals because I heard you can make a lot of money doing it this way."
Yep.
In real estate investing. When you think about properties and the right setup and what's going to be the most successful property type for room rentals, what comes to mind? What types of things?
Location.
Location,
That's what
okay.
we say in real estate. Location.
Yeah.
That's always going to be the theme in real estate, right?
Yeah.
You've got to be in the right location. There's some things that you want to look at when it comes to location.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing is it close to public transportation? Okay. Is it something that, and especially, it kind of really depends on what type of co-living space you want to have.
Yeah.
Right. So you start there. If you want to cater to an affordable housing type clientele, okay, then it's all about location and public transportation and how quickly can they get to the city,
Yeah.
right? And how quickly can they get to their jobs. If it's a more upscale, luxurious, boutique type scenario, location is definitely something that you want to think about, but you don't think about public transportation because they're not going to use it, right? So the luxurious, properties that are catering to luxury, or let's say the business class. I'm in town for a project. I'm going to be here for 6 to 9 months. I'm a nurse. I'm a traveling nurse. I'm going to be on this project for a specified amount of time. It's not so much about location. It's about the property itself, right? What are the amenities that this property offers? What is the aesthetic of the property? Does it feel like it's home for me?
I can call that home.
Right. While I'm here. Or, is it just another place for me to lay my head? Right. Is it about budget, or is it about, convenience, or is it about the experience? Right. So really, that's really what I try and dial into with that particular investor. What's important to you when it comes to building this co-living space? What clientele do you want to market to? Right.
What are the most important amenities within a co-living space? Is it free laundry on site? Is it free parking? Like, what really draws people in to say, you know what, I'm choosing this one as opposed to this co-living property down the street?
Bathrooms.
Okay.
I know that sounds crazy,
No,
but that's one of the we have that conversation a lot. How many people are going to share a bathroom? Number one. Or if you have your own private bathroom, people either like their own private spaces, or I don't want to have to share it with so many people, right? Because it's such a personal, It
really is. Like, I have gone as far as 2 people to a bathroom, and that's it.
Yep.
I've seen fellow hosts, room rental property owners that have 4 people sharing one bathroom. And I'm like, how are you making that work? That sounds like entirely too many people sharing something so, like you said, personal. And so going forward, as I continue to buy room rental properties, my goal is to either find the property that will accommodate everybody having their own bathroom, because you certainly can charge more, or when I start to do new builds, it will be for every bathroom, for every bedroom comes its own bathroom. Because that's important.
Yeah. And there's a market for that, but there's also a market for people who are okay with sharing a bathroom, and they're okay with sharing a bathroom with 4 or 5 people. It's not a big deal for them, because for them, I'm going to be there for 8 hours of the day, and that's for me to come in, sleep,
that's true.
Take a bath and get back out.
And
so, it's really about who are you trying to cater to?
That's true.
What are the needs of your community? that you're in.
Yeah, because I have one room renter that comes to mind. She travels for her job all the time. So she's gone like 4 days out of the week.
Yep.
So she literally, it just feels like she's just using the room she's rented for me for storage because she's gone majority of the time.
Yeah.
So to share a bathroom definitely would not be a big deal for her because she's gone more than she's at the property.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So when it comes to pricing these rooms, what's your strategy in knowing what the right price is?
Yeah. So there's a few different things that we do. Of course, you're going to always have a comparative market analysis where you look at what's going on with the market. The market changes, right? We know that market rate is whatever someone is willing to pay. Right? And so, and it really kind of depends on seasonality. You know, in the summer times, you know, you're going to see a higher demand of people versus the wintertime. People
For
are
room
not
rentals?
For room rentals.
I didn't realize that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it's room rentals as well as just real estate and property management and multifamily, single family. It doesn't matter. But in the summertime, it's booming. Okay. All the time. But in the winter, you don't see that as much. So you're going to have, you know, homes or not homes, but rooms that are sitting on the market a little longer than usual.
Than normal. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But pricing is, you know, you're going to start there. I use a dynamic pricing strategy, very similar to what hotels use. It's based upon supply and demand, right?
Yep.
You look at your lead count to see who's inquiring. If people are inquiring about it, asking about it, you know that you're right there in the right spot, right? If you're not getting any type of leads on it, you're not, you know, it's not the right price point. So you want to go back and adjust. Don't wait so long to make that adjustment. You know, I'm not going to wait 15 days, 20 days to make that adjustment.
Yeah.
And hope for that one person to come along and say, okay, I'm willing to pay this.
Right.
You're going to test your market and see what people are willing to pay because they will click and say, I'm interested. Okay. If you're not getting the I'm interested, you're not at the right place.
So this is not a set it and forget it type of, this is the price on this room and that's it. You have to consistently be looking at your price points to make sure you're in line with the market.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one thing that owners do a lot of times, they don't realize that you can not only go down in your price, but you can go back up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So just because I'm at this price point today doesn't mean next week I can't go up. You know, if I'm getting a lot of likes and people are inquiring and people are starting to apply or ask about applying, that's a good indication that I'm probably too low. Okay.
Yeah. People get scared with dropping the price of the rent for a room because the first thing that comes to mind is I'm going to lose money. If I drop the price. Okay, well, it's going to stay vacant if you keep the price where it is and no one is, you know, inquiring about renting the room. So,
but actually think about the pandemic. I mean, do you remember during the pandemic, homes were on the market and you would get, and this is for sales, but in general, okay, homes were on the market. First day, you would get 45 offers, you know, on a home. Yeah. And so at that point, they were driving up the price. All right. It was on the market at this price, but because somebody really, really, really wanted it, okay, it drove up that price. I mean, and it could sometimes go for $50,000, $60,000 more than what the list price was, you know. So again, a lot of times we don't dictate what that price is. The market will.
The market does.
It's okay to underprice. Start low. Okay. It really is okay to start low and see what the demand is. Test the market, see what the demand is, and then adjust accordingly.
Yeah, that's good. So when we're talking about property management of room rentals, you're not only managing the property, but you're managing the people.
The people.
I know firsthand experience as an operator who manages her own properties. The people, managing the people can be the most challenging part of the job.
It is the most challenging part.
Okay, period. I wasn't trying to put words in your mouth.
It is the most challenging part.
Okay, so we're going to agree on that the managing the people is the most challenging part of the job, but not impossible.
It's not impossible.
Right?
It's not.
So tell me about what types of things you've seen as far as challenges with managing people and how you have overcome those challenges, whether it's that one tenant that is not happy with anything, my bed's not long enough, my mattress is too soft, all the way to the conflict amongst tenants.
Yep.
Fill me in on some stories about some people you've had to manage for good, bad, or give me the good, bad, and the ugly when it comes to managing room renters.
Sure. Actually, like any relationship, you start off by defining the expectations and being very clear about what the expectations are. Day one, you clearly set those expectations and then hold them accountable to those expectations. And because I am a licensed real estate broker, I'm going to be fair, right? So what I do for one, I'm going to do for all, right? And we've got to do that as just managing people. So don't make expectation or make exceptions for those who we would not make exceptions for others, you know?
Right.
But be very consistent and clear about what your expectations are. So that's the very first thing.
And you do that day one by way of like house rules?
House rules,
Yep.
having a conversation with them about what those house rules are. So not just having them in your documentation. But my team, whenever we are getting ready to approve or review an application, we get on the phone and we have an interview with them, you know? And we go over and we read off the rules, you know, and make sure that we answer any questions that they may have.
They understand.
And not to say that they're dumb and they can't read.
Right.
But sometimes you look at it and you say, yeah. You know, and not really go through that and read it. So
most people don't.
And the very first thing they want to say is, I didn't know. You know.
Right,
and like, no, you got a copy of it, and then on top of it, you know, it may be in your dashboard so you can always see it. But on top of that, we had a conversation about it.
Right.
You know. But everyone learns differently, right?
Sure.
Some people can learn by reading, some people learn by hearing, some people learn by speaking, right?
Yeah,
so
we'll give them
we
that.
take that approach, you know, and at that particular point, if they don't get it, it's on them.
Right.
But also just being okay with telling someone it's just not a good fit. You know, and you're going to have to do that from time to time. It's just tell people it's not a good fit. Because here's the thing is that one person can mess up the entire experience for the whole house.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the one thing that you don't want.
Right.
Get rid of the bad apple, you'll get another apple.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But you don't want to get rid of the good tenants, the good people that are living in the house,
Paying
who
on
loves the
time.
experience, who's always paying. You don't want to mess up their experience because of this one bad apple who, let's be real, you're going to lose eventually anyway. You know,
Right.
So, because you're not going to be able to make them happy.
Exactly.
Right? So
Exactly. So when you are onboarding the room renters, you talked about a couple things. There is a contract that's to be signed.
Absolutely.
There is a review of the house rules or guidelines for living in a particular property. You mentioned interview. What types of questions are you asking them during the interview?
I can't give you all my trade secrets. No,
Okay.
I'm just playing.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
No, I'm just playing. This I want to help people. So if this is going to help people, absolutely, I want to tell you. The first thing that we want to do is verify the information that's on the application is correct and accurate and true.
Yeah.
All right. So you're going to ask them questions like, hey, how many other people will live in the property? Okay. And you'll get people to say, oh, my boyfriend they're not on the application. You know, so that's a great time for us to go back and say, hey, they need to apply. This may not be a good fit, you know, because now we know that you're going to have visitors that are going to stay overnight. Okay, so that's one thing. How many pets will be in the house? Well, I do have my emotional support animal. You didn't indicate that, you know. And so this is a good time for you to double check the information that's on the application that maybe let's give them the benefit of the doubt to say maybe they just didn't read the question correctly.
Right.
You know, but you've missed some important information, you know, because of that. So we start off by just verifying that information. We ask them what do you know about co-living? You know, what are your expectations
That's a big
coming
one.
into co-living?
Yeah.
You know, and from that, you can begin to set and define and clear up what may be right or wrong, all right, about their experiences.
Yeah.
We ask questions about their job. So we want to verify their employment. Like, how long have you been on your job? And you would not believe how many times that the information that's on the application and the information they share with you is not the same. Okay. We ask them questions about, what's important to them in living in a home. So, questions that are important, nothing that breaks fair housing rules, because we're going to ask everybody the same questions. Right. But at the same time, we're making sure we're trusting but verifying. Right. And that's really, really important because, again, now everything is done on the computer. It's electronically. And that is a great thing. But you don't have that face-to-face interaction. They don't know who you are. You don't know who they are.
Right.
So let's begin building that relationship initially by having the right conversation and setting those expectations.
AI cannot replace those one-on-one, human-to-human conversations.
That's right.
Okay?
No,
AI is taking over a lot of things, but
never
AI
do it.
cannot take over that important.
And AI doesn't always get it right. You still have to build and train AI. And it's growing and it's getting better and better each day. Right?
Sure.
But it's not quite there. So.
Right. I don't think it'll ever take over a one-on-one conversation.
It will not.
Because you're a person that has had, who knows, thousands of interactions with other human beings over your lifetime. You have built a discernment to know when you're talking to a person and you're asking them questions and you're listening to their answers, you can pick up on if it's going to be a good fit or not.
Absolutely.
At some point during that conversation. And so that's just something that AI can't replace. So one question I get all the time is, why would I pay a property manager? This is more so for my pad split folks that have their properties on pad split and they're paying the management fee to pad split every month. The question is, why would I have an outside property manager and pay pad split? Isn't that a lot when it comes to management fees? Like, why would I bring on a property manager?
That's a great question. I like to think of pad split and platforms like pad split as being the cloud. They're up in la la land, making things happen, right? They're serving their purpose in the cloud.
Yeah.
But you always need the boots on the ground.
Yeah.
All right. You need the people who knows the house, who knows the neighborhood, who knows the other members that are there, who's going to handle the maintenance. All right. Because let's be real, maintenance is a huge part of co-living.
100%.
Right? And that's a 60% of it, of what's going on. So you got to have the right maintenance people to address the issues now. And because you're having so many different people come in and out, your homes are going to have more wear and tear on them.
Yeah.
Right. And so you've got to account for that and be able to respond to that appropriately and quickly. Okay. You're going to have more turnover. Okay. Pad split is not going to handle your turnover.
Right.
They're not going to get that room ready. They're not going to make sure that, the person that's moving in has the right codes. And if the codes are not working, who's going to go out there to make sure that they can get in?
Yeah.
We also add the human element to what pad split cannot do. Pad split handles a small piece of collections, but what we handle is the next piece. All right. So we're going to be the ones that takes them to court. All right. If they do not pay, we're going to be the ones that's following up with them to say, hey, we have not received your payment. When are you going to make payment? Here are the next steps. All right. And then, following the legal process as needed.
Yes.
There's so many things, once again, that pad split does, but there's so many things that they do not.
Right.
And we are the human element of co-living.
Yeah.
We make sure that the boots on the ground, the operational pieces are in place.
Yeah, for sure. Like you just rattled off like 4 or 5 things that pad split does not do, that as an owner, you probably don't want to do. Like I'm the only crazy one that's continuing to self-manage. But at some point, once I hit that right number of properties, it will be handed off to Courtenay Burke, because I'm like, I've been in this seat self-managing long enough.
Sure.
But it has to make sense, right?
It
when
does.
It comes to scaling and making sure my systems and my automations and all of those things are in place before I feel comfortable handing it off to a property manager. So the reason I bring up me self-managing is it'd have been nice to have a property manager this past month. Because in this past month, across my properties, there's been a bird in the attic. There's been a broken dishwasher. There's been it was too hot in the house. There has been my bed's not long enough. And my mattress,
post on that. Yeah.
my mattress, that was the latest one this week. And my mattress is not firm enough. And that was crazy because as long as I've been in this business for years now, that was my first bed complaint.
Okay.
Standard bed goes in every single room. Never had a complaint until this past week.
Okay.
And so, yes, Courtney saw me post on Facebook and a couple of co-living operator groups to say, hey, y'all, here's the situation going on. What would you do? Because I wasn't sure if I should replace the bed because he just moved in a week ago. Like, I'm not trying to have him, vacate the room before I even make any money. Try to, provide that superior customer service, right? So in my mind, it was like, well, maybe I will replace the bed. But the comments were like, don't replace that bed. If you give into that, the tenant will continue to ask for stuff and it'll never be enough.
Right.
And you'll continue just to like pour in and pour in and pour in. So long story short, the compromise was consensus across Facebook group comments in these groups was to tell him that he can buy his own bed. And I will provide a mattress pillow top, like do something to improve the firmness of the mattress, like the mattress pillow top, putting in like the plywood between the actual mattress and the frame itself. And so that's what I did. I said, hey, I won't be replacing the bed, but you can buy your own bed. We'll take that one, have my team take that one out of there. We'll throw that one in storage. Have your own bed of your choosing. And if you want me to buy a mattress pillow top, provide, whatever you need to make your bed more comfortable, sure. So hadn't heard back.
Yeah. What you did was you gave them some options, though.
Yeah.
So you didn't say no.
Right.
You still provided great customer service by saying, unfortunately, I can't do that. However, here are some options.
Yeah.
But you were consistent.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. You were consistent with what you offer. And you didn't have to give out more than what you really should, because again, when you do it for one, you got to do it for all.
Right.
And that's the one thing that you don't really want to do is get into. Now, there's a difference between making a reasonable accommodation, right?
Yeah.
If there was a disability, and
Yes.
it was a reasonable accommodation, that's one thing. And sometimes we have to remember that, every situation is not going to always be the same.
Right.
But when it comes to my bed is not soft enough, it's not long enough.
It's not long enough.
We provided you with the bed.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Now it's up to you to make it work. I've gotten that complaint several times. And I've had some people that were probably a little bigger than the bed.
That's
and
fair.
We get the exact same thing. You can bring in your own bed.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And you can, but you would need to do that. But we provided you with the things that we said we would provide.
And so, other point is, if I had a property manager in place, I wouldn't have needed to deal with any of that at all.
Exactly. I would have had that conversation.
Courtney would have been dealing with
my
that.
My team would have had a conversation with them.
Yeah.
And they are trained to be able to have those conversations and, know exactly what to say in order to either keep the resident and make them happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Being an independent operator, though, has given me the experience.
Yeah.
With the different things that can come up.
Absolutely.
The good and the bad.
Good and the bad.
And so that is
everything in between.
And everything in between. Everything in
Yep.
between. The journey thus far with room rentals, though, has been a pretty good one. I've only had a few instances where I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this no more. This is crazy. But you navigate your way through those situations as best as you can. Take notes, and if it ever comes up again, you know how to deal with it.
Exactly.
That's just comes with experience. So with RenterCasa, operating in the Charlotte market, Atlanta market, and what was the third?
Raleigh
market. So any plans for expansion beyond North Carolina and Georgia? Or are you going to stick and stay here for
Southeast
a little
is
while
where we're
longer?
going to be.
Southeast, okay.
Yep. So Nashville is coming at some point.
Okay, so there will be other states.
I
Okay.
have a client that is building some new construction and is going to turn those into some co-living spaces. So we're definitely going to be in Nashville because he's already a client and a great client, by the way.
Okay.
And then also in the Florida market. So we will be going into Tampa or in Orlando are the two markets that we're choosing to focus on initially.
Good deal. The reason I asked is because I know when people see this interview, they're going to want to reach out to you.
Absolutely.
And they're probably
That would
going to
be
be in a
great.
state that you're not quite in just yet. So we just wanted them to know where you are operating today, where you plan on expanding. And if you're outside of those states, then I'm sorry, guys. Like, you might want to buy a property in one of the states that Courtney operates in.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This was an awesome interview. I know it will give people some good insight into how they should approach their room rental properties when it comes to self-managing versus hiring a property manager.
Yep.
Once it makes sense financially, hire the property manager.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
and I'm going to be honest, Ashley, you know, our best clients are those who have multiple properties.
Sure.
So 5+
okay.
properties
That's a
are
sweet
our best
spot.
clients.
Okay.
And so it's a lot of times, as you said, one property, two properties, it doesn't make sense
Right.
to have a property manager. You can handle the volume a
Yeah.
lot of times.
Yeah.
But it's whenever you don't have the time or the capacity to handle the volume. That's when you call the property manager, when you're ready to be completely hands off.
Yeah.
And say, you know what, let someone else do this.
Yeah. One last story before we wrap up. So,
Sure.
Courtney and I have known each other a couple years now. And so my properties are on pad split. Here lately, pad split is taking a little while to fill rooms for whatever reason. I don't have time for them to figure out why it's taking so long to fill rooms or for them to act specifically on mine. So I called Courtney and was like, bro, these rooms are sitting vacant too long. Like, I need your help. He came right in. He did his thing, his expert property management thing, and got those rooms filled within like a week. And that was amazing. He knows what to look for. He knows what adjustments to make. That is in your purview as a property manager and not mine as an owner. So that's one of the things I wanted to call out was perspective is different from the owner seat versus the property management seat. And so be clear on what your strengths are as an owner and know that you don't have experience as a property manager.
Sure.
And so even if properties are on pad split or any platform, you need to look into hiring solid property management for your room rentals. And if you're lucky enough to be in a state where Courtney operates, you need to be reaching out to you.
Call me.
Call Courtney.
Call me.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, bro.
Ashley, I appreciate you inviting me, first of all.
Yeah.
And the shout outs have been awesome. So thank you for that and being in my corner. And I'm always here for you. So if you ever need anything, you know where to call.
Thank you.
All
so
right.
we'll drop RenterCasa. Is RenterCasa.com?
RenterCasa.com.
Yeah, so we'll drop the website. Y'all know it, but we'll drop the website officially into the show notes as well as Courtney's contact information. So if you're in one of his core markets and need property management for your room rentals, do yourself a favor and reach out to him. And that's all we got for you for this episode, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.